Happy birthday, Kenneth. This is your Aunt Carla wishing you a happy 50th birthday. This is a real milestone for you, but you'll do fine, and let's just drink a little toast to your 50th birthday. So, when you were just a little tyke, you were so cute, and I remember you being so energetic, and you had a speed called fast, and it was just go, go, go in your own little world. And then you grew into such a nice young boy, and your just world expanded, and you were just interested in a lot of things. I really like that about you. But then there were the teenage years. Do you remember the week that you and Lisa came down and stayed with me for a week? When your mom and dad went camping? Typical teenagers. Little hard to get along with, but we managed, and even though you and Lisa did some shenanigans, it was okay. Well, when I heard that you were coming, I planned all these wonderful educational outings, and when you got here and I asked about what you wanted to do, you said, we want to go to the beach and eat junk food. And that's exactly what we did, and you know what, I have to admit, it was fun for me too. So anyway, I was just thinking about the things about you that I admire, and one is your sense of humor. Well, way back in your gene pool, there was a man named Ernest Kinsley. He was your grandmother's father. He had a great sense of humor, I've been told. I didn't actually know him because he passed away when I was just a newborn. But I did hear the story about him holding me on his lap in a rocking chair on the front porch of the farmhouse, and he was dipping his finger into peanut butter and he was letting me lick it off. I was about 3 days old. Well, your grandma, my mom, when she found out about that, she really got kind of angry about it, and this was his reply. She likes it, she likes it. So, you know, I still do like it. I still like peanut butter, and I like sitting on front porches. So, one thing about your grandfather that I did hear was that he could always laugh at himself. If he did something that was kind of silly or unfortunate, instead of getting upset, he would just laugh about it. And he had a very hearty laugh. In fact, a farmer in the neighboring farm could hear him laugh all the way across the cornfield because it was so loud and hearty. Well, I asked your grandma about that one time, how that could happen, because it was so far away, and she thought that sound carried better in those days. When she grew up, it was the horse and buggy days, and there was no noise of cars or airplanes or machinery. So he married, when he got married to Elma Kinsley, your great-great-grandmother, and she was a new bride. One day she was making bread dough, and it didn't turn out. So she was kind of embarrassed about it and didn't want her new husband to know what had happened. So she buried the bread dough in the yard. Well, with the sun coming out, it kind of warmed up the bread dough and it started to rise. And when he came in from the field, he saw this big lump in his yard, and he, of course, couldn't let it go. He went over and saw what it was. He dug it up, and it was kind of dirty, and he knew exactly what it was. So instead of just letting it alone and everything, he just started laughing, and he carried it into the kitchen and just laughing. And she was kind of mortified, but she did have to laugh herself. So another thing about him that you remind me of is his compassion. He always cared for his animals, even though they were part of the farm. He knew they were vital to the farm. He still cared about their well-being, and he kept them healthy. However, people didn't really like giving him animals because no matter what the animal was, he would name the animal after the person who gave it to him. For instance, when your dad was just a boy and would go down to the farm, I'm sure that he remembers that he played with Jim the dog. So, and then I think that I'll show you a picture of your grandma and grandpa. No, my grandma and grandpa, your great-grandma and great-grandpa. And this is Elma, your great-grandmother Kinsley, and Ernest, your grandfather Kinsley, great-grandfather Kinsley. Now, I think you got your creativity from your great-grandma. I remember the angry birds that you put up in the backyard for your girls. Now that took creativity. And then who can forget the hearing about the fountain that you made in college. So, and your great-grandmother was very artistic. She designed and sewed her own quilts. She painted flowers on her aprons. She decorated her hats. She knitted, she crocheted. After the farm was sold in Ohio, she moved up to Detroit and lived with your grandma Evelyn's sisters, Bernice and Joan. And she turned into quite a big Detroit Red Wings fan. So she would take the bus down to the arena and she would stand in line for hours waiting to buy those hockey tickets. And while she was waiting, she would crochet or knit, and one thing she liked to decorate were little handkerchiefs. And this is one that she made, and it's really very artfully done, I think. So she was very creative too. And so in closing, Kenneth, I would just wish that you would have a delicious spaghetti dinner for your birthday, but go easy on the Parmesan cheese. Cheers from your Aunt Carla.